this would cost about $5,000 in manufacturing to make. You can go and take a look at this later. I'm going to tell you in a minute what that cost has come down to. So remember those knowledge concerns. Well, first is the development of the integrated circuit. He died 2 years ago, but the inventor of the integrated circuit was Jack Kilby. And Jack's idea was to use photo patterning to create circuits. And of course, like most inventors, he was laughed at Texas Instruments and some of the other places, but he went ahead and did it anyway. And oh, by the way, that's his first integrated circuit. Does look promising, doesn't it? Okay. Anyway, that's what the first integrated circuit actually looks like. But in 1995, this is the Intel 8486 CPU, third of an inch across. Today, the Tukwila chip, which is the newest one they have in production, has 2 billion transistors on it. Okay, and it's actually a little smaller than this. So we were all told that this business was going to end when you reach half a micron because that's the wavelength of light. Well, they didn't tell us about the fact that you could fabricate with contact, that you could do X-ray lithography and so forth. And now they're working at 22 nanometers, okay, which is 50 times smaller. Not only 50 times smaller, it's 2,500 times the area density that they're doing before. So we still probably have a factor of 100 to go in circuit density based upon what we know. Be careful there. So here's the knowledge concerns. What actually happened? Well, expensive short lasers. Now lasers are solid state, cost $1, never burn out. Very expensive scan mirror. Scan mirror now costs $2 to $3. Printer memory will cost $30,000. Today, 168 megabytes of memory costs $2. 4 megabytes of fast disk will cost $10,000. Today, 2 terabytes of disk costs $150. A laser modulator costs $1,000. Oops, solid-state laser don't need any modulator. You can modulate it directly. Can you expose a photoconductor in 10 to the minus 8 seconds? Sure you can. You can now do it in 10 to the minus 10 seconds. Scan mirror won't last at 10,000 RPM. Never had any failures. So laser scan subsystem will always cost at least $2,000 or more, like that one. Nope. Today it costs $30. Canon makes $25,000 a week in Japan. Other companies doing the same thing. They fit in your hand. They're not much bigger than this, not much heavier than that. All made out of plastic. So the whole system has come quite a ways in that whole thing. So how about this? Remember Canon LBP2, as it was called in the early 80s, was a little laser beam printer that actually had this low-cost scanner in it and had cartridges that you put in. Maybe these laser printers, you stick the cartridges in to refresh the toner. Well, Xerox didn't like cartridges because they said that they're too expensive. They're 3 times the cost per page of pouring toner in. Except if you ever talk to a secretary or a businessman who's poured toner into a copier and had that black stuff get all over you, you then take it and decide you're going to wash it, and then the hot water diffuses to your shirt. You find out, I mean, my wife used to have a whole basket full of shirts with black rings around because they used to get toner on my shirt. I used to have to wear suits to work. And so Canon put in the cartridge, which is clean, in and out, in and out. Sure, it costs a little more, but guess what? No cleaning costs. Well, who did this? HP did the LaserJet 2, Apple Laser Writer, Canon Laser Printer, and Canon built most of the personal laser printers in the world today. And in fact, 4 years ago, HP shipped its 30 millionth personal laser printer. So it beat the 300 target by quite a bit. So here's the laser printer in 2011, or in 1971. In 2011, this is what it looks like. So persistence and hanging in there was really important to making this work. Now, it's been said that Gutenberg made everyone a reader, Xerox made everyone a publisher, and PC and the laser printer made everyone an author. I think the internet's even enhanced that even more. So, some practical issues. And this, I think, is very important for you to think about. How long does it take from the initial idea to get started or to get market penetration? Well, here's the first curve. This is the penetration of the automobile. It's taken 110 years for the automobile to reach about 78% market penetration. rails fell off. The next thing is the telephone. Notice the same dip around that time. Telephones now about 95% penetration in the world. But notice how long it's taken for that to happen. By the way, an interesting anecdote is, I don't know if you know how telephone numbers came about. It used to be the operator had plugs. And they'd go to the console and you'd pick up and you'd say, Ethel, please connect me to Mr. Simpson down the street. So she put his plug into your plug and you'd be connected. Well, it ended up they had a measles epidemic in Boston. And about 70% of the telephone operators got sick. And all the phone system went down the drain. And the doctor said to someone, when you put numbers on these things, they wouldn't have to have operators. And that's exactly how phone numbers came about. So we can thank the medical profession for phone numbers. Here's the adoption of electricity, taking less time. Here's radio, television, VCR and microwave. And oh yes, the PC and cell phone rocketing vertically as they take off. Now you say, well, what doesn't that mean? But remember one thing. These are complex systems, not just a technology. You have a cell phone, you have a PC, you got to have electricity. You have electricity, you got to have a power generator. To get hold of it, you got to have power lines. So you have to put in infrastructure and generating capacity and all that kind of stuff to make this all work. So of course these have accelerated rapidly, but they depended on a lot of stuff that went before. So if you have a new idea, you might ask yourself, is the infrastructure ready to accept this? Do I have everything in place that I need? You know, it's like the electric car. It's nice, but you're going to drive 100 miles and plug it in for 3 hours? Where? Where are you going to plug it in for 3 hours? So there's infrastructure that has to be built up before this becomes practical. One of the interesting stories that I think you ought to know about is Edison was a big proponent of putting in power generation stations, except he wanted to use direct current. And in his calculation, he'd have to put a generating station about every mile, because DC, the voltage falls way off, so you have to regenerate that. So to work on this problem, he hired a young engineer who looked at this problem and said, you know, Mr. Edison, you really should change to alternating current. And he said, no, it's direct current, so it is. No, you really should do alternating current. So they had a big fight. Edison ended up firing this young engineer. The young engineer's name was George Westinghouse. Okay? And George Westinghouse is the guy who put in AC current, and I don't think Edison ever had a proper power plant. So even inventors can have blind spots. Well, you must press on. I always like the statement by Churchill. He says, success is the ability to go from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. And I think that's pretty much true in research and things like that. If it doesn't work, keep pressing on. And oh, by the way, Albert Einstein, imagination is more important than knowledge. Yes, you have to know things, but you can't know everything. And, you know, when you look at all these things, you have to realize that most of the experiences I've ever had with executives in industry, I worked for 3 Fortune 500 companies for 45 years, that the businessmen were very careful of what they did. They knew how to generate profit and loss statements, and they knew how to measure numbers and everything else. Most of them had no imagination. They couldn't conceive of anything beyond what was going on. So that's a hurdle you're going to have to overcome as an inventor. You're going to have to try and sell spaceflight to the pygmies because they don't really get it, and you're going to have to press on. Final thought. Howard Aiken was the creator of the first digital computer. And yes, the first woman programmer on that computer was Grace Hopper. Ladies, we thank you for starting software. And he said something very interesting. Never worry about someone stealing your great idea. If it's truly good, you'll have to jam it down their throat. So I think in the good ideas, don't be turned off by people who don't like it. Press on. You need to be the champion. You need to hang in there. Thanks for your attention.